Hi guys, today I'm going to be filming this summer party makeup look, perfect for the beach or for the pool. It's got soft sparkly eyes and really glowy bronzed skin. I hope you like it. To start off with, I'm going to be priming my skin using the Makeup Forever Step 1 Skin Equaliser, and this is this smoothing primer. Then for my base, I'm going to be using the L'Oreal Mercier Oil-Free Tinted Moisturiser, and this is in the shade Ochre, and it's an oil-free SPF 20 formulation, so it's great for if you're going to be out and about, especially in the sunshine. Then for my brows, I'm going to be using the Tarte Amazonian Clay Waterproof Brow Pencil, and this is in the shade Medium Brown. And I always like to start off with combing through my brows, or whatever I have of them, just so you can get a better look at the shape of them. And then I'll go in with the waxy pencil side and start to kind of shape and fill in my brows at the same time. And for whatever reason, I always like to kind of work from the inside on the underside of my brow first. I like to map out the kind of shape that I want, and then I start kind of mimicking the hairs on top. And this is a really pigmented pencil. I mean, if you compare it to the likes of Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, this is so much more pigmented, so you have to go in with a really light hand, and you almost always have to use the spoolie to kind of brush it out afterwards, just so everything is kind of as natural looking as possible. You want to get the product really evenly distributed in your brows as well. Once I've got my brows kind of how I want it, I go back in with the spoolie end and just kind of softly brush through the brow. Then I go in with the L'Oreal Brow Artist Plumper to set them in place, and to kind of add back any texture to the brows to make it look a bit more realistic. Okay, moving on to the eyes, I'm just going to quickly prime them using a concealer, and this is just the Urban Decay Naked Skin one. So apply a small dab of that on the lids, then just go in with my ring finger and blend that all in. And then I'm just going to set that concealer using just a light powder, and today I'm going to use the Makeup Forever Artist Shadow in M500. It's just a light off-white shade. I'm just going to take it across the lid all the way up to the brow bone. To start off with on the eyes, I'm going to apply my transition shade, and today I'm going to be using this shade, which is Max Soft Brown, and it is basically a very soft brown. It's kind of like a dark muted peach, and I'm just basically taking that on a fluffy brush, and I'm just going to sweep it kind of right the way across the crease, but mainly focusing on the upper crease. And I do tend to like to focus most of the darkness on the outer third of the eye. And the first colour I am going to apply to my lids is this beautiful soft gold shade, which is also another Makeup Forever Artist eyeshadow, and this is in the shade I648. And I'm literally going to sweep this right the way across the mobile part of the lid, so being sure to stay under that crease. Then I am going to go in with this gorgeous kind of soft, coppery, sparkly, glittery shade. Again, another eyeshadow from Makeup Forever, and this one is in the shade D712. But before I go in with that, I'm going to dampen my brush with a little bit of setting spray. And this is basically going to make the eyeshadow a lot more intense. And I'm literally going to take this colour and apply it all over that light gold base that we've put down. And this has definitely given it a bit more of that foiled effect. So when the sun catches this, it's going to look absolutely beautiful. Right, then I'm going to take the brush that I used to apply that soft brown transition shade, and I'm just going to buff away at the top edge of that metallic coppery shade that we've just put down. It's just going to soften that out. And then time to add a bit more kind of depth into the outer corners and the crease. and I want to go in with a bit more of a warmer shade. I'm going to go in with a little bit of MAC's Swiss Chocolate, which is a very warm tone brown. Got a lot of kind of hints of orange and red to it. And taking it on a slightly more tapered brush, I am going to apply that to the outer part of the crease and start to kind of build it up and intensify it. I'm also just going to join it to the corner of the top lash line as well. So you're creating that kind of outer V shape. And I always like to do my eyeshadow with my eyes open, just so I can see exactly what it looks like with my eyes open. Because sometimes when you're working in the crease and you have your eyes closed, as soon as you open it, the colour kind of disappears behind your eyes, so you can't actually see it. So I like to kind of apply it in the crease, but also keep my eyes open and take it kind of as far up as I need to, so that when I do have my eyes open, you can just see that colour peeking through. Right, then I'm going to go back in with that fluffy brush that we used to apply soft brown, and just kind of blend in that Swiss chocolate into that soft brown, so it looks kind of really well blended and seamless. Just going to add a little bit more of that Swiss chocolate, but I'm just going to bring it in a little bit further along the crease, but I'm going to stay quite tightly in that crease and not take it too high up. And then if you want a bit more kind of depth and smokiness to the look, then I'd go in with an even more dark brown and just focus it on the very outermost corners of the eye. And for that, I am going to be using, I want to say Handwritten. I can't actually take the pan out of the palette. I'm pretty sure it's Handwritten. It's a really dark, kind of slightly warm, plumish brown. I'm taking that on a pencil brush. Just going to apply this to the outermost corner, so joining the corner of the top lash line to the crease. Taking the brush that I used to apply Swiss chocolate, just going to soften it out and blend that in. I'm also going to run some of that Handwritten shade along the outer half of the top lash line, just to create a little bit of smokiness by the lashes as well. I'm just going to lightly curl my lashes. Then I'm going to line my lashes using the Kat Von D Tattoo Liner in Trooper. I'm just going to do a very, very kind of tiny little flick at the end. Then to soften that line out, I'm going to go back into that really dark matte brown, and taking that same pencil brush, I'm literally going to soften out that liner, so the whole look kind of stays really soft, nothing kind of too defined. Then I'm going to apply some mascara, and this is the Loreal False Lash Telescopic Waterproof Mascara, and you might have heard me mention it before, but this has quickly become my favourite mascara pretty much of all time, I think. By the time this video goes up, there should already be a blog post on this mascara. So head over to my blog at Face Made Up to check it out. I mean, if you have Asian lashes, or if you have kind of short, poker straight, super fine, barely there lashes, then it's definitely well worth your while checking this mascara out. Before we go and apply some lashes, I'm gonna tightline my top waterline using the Colourpop Cream Gel Eyeliner in the shade Swerve. Time to apply some lashes. Then Then I'm going to move on to concealing my under eyes, and for that I'm going to be using the LA Girl Pro Conceal, and this is in the shade Creamy Beige. I'm going to use this to highlight as well. Then using a damp beauty blender, I'm just going to go in and pat that concealer out to blend that in. Just going to take any remaining excess of that concealer, just kind of run it in between the brows and the forehead, just to kind of balance out that highlight. And then to conceal the skin, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Complete Coverage Concealer in the shade Medium Light Neutral. And I'm just going to apply it where I've got a couple of blemishes and a little bit of redness. Going back in with the damp beauty blender, and we just start to blend that in. Set that concealer work in place, I'm just going to take a little bit of a translucent setting powder, and the one I'm using is the RMCA No Colour Powder, and gently set that in place. Then to bronze up the skin, I'm going to use something a little bit different. This is the Guerlain Terracotta Spray, and it's basically a bronzer in a spray, and it does have an SPF 10 in there, so this is great to kind of add to your sun protection, although 10 isn't that high. But yeah, what you kind of do is kind of spray it onto a brush and apply it to the skin. You can kind of spray this directly onto your face, but I kind of prefer to spray it onto a brush. That way it gives me a little bit more precision. And then I kind of just apply it to the face where I would do with normal powder bronzer. And this is kind of buildable, so kind of build it up to the level that you want it. This is great if you want kind of something really lightweight and natural looking, but you still kind of want that whole bronzed look to your skin. Then I like to take my beauty blender and just kind of soften out the edges. I'm going to skip contour today because I want to kind of keep this makeup look kind of fresh and lightweight. So I'm going to move on to blush, and again I'm going to use a bit more of a different blush. I'm going to use a cream blusher today, and this is a beautiful shade from the Hourglass Illume Sunset Duo, which is a cream bronzer and a cream blush. I wanted to use the Guerlain spray bronzer today, so that's why I haven't used the bronzer here, but the blush is such a beautiful kind of pinky coral shade. I'm just going to take a little bit on the same brush that I used to apply the bronzer and just apply it to the apples of the cheek. Again, I like to kind of finish that off with my beauty blender and make sure it's kind of blended in nicely with the bronzer. And now to add a little bit of highlight to the skin, which is an absolute must when it comes to kind of any beachy summery makeup. I'm going to be using today the Colourpop SuperShock Cheek Highlight in the shade Wisp. It's a beautiful kind of really light golden bronze shade, and I'm going to apply it using my fingers and just kind of hit the tops of the cheekbone. Just take it up above the arch of the brow as well, and kind of run it along the actual brow bone under the arch of the brow. And for those of you highlight junkies out there who love a bit of an intense highlight, you can add a little bit of a powder highlight on top of this, and this will just really amp up the shine. And I think I'm going to add a teeny tiny bit of a Becca's Champagne Pop. Just going to take it directly on top of that cream highlight. Right, then I'm going to move back and finish off the eyes. And I'm basically going to mix the two shades that I used to apply on the lid. So that first light gold shade and then the kind of sparkly coppery shade. And I'm just going to run that along the bottom lash line from outer corner to inner corner. And then with the pencil brush, I'm going to mix MAC Soft Brown and MAC Swiss Chocolate together. And run that on the outer kind of third of the lash line. Then I'm just going to take MAC's Handwritten and apply that right in the outer corners of that bottom lash line. And I'm just going to finish off the eyes with a little bit of mascara to the bottom lash base. Not to neglect the inner corner highlight, I am going to mix a little bit of that light golden shade in with this shade, which is another Makeup Forever Artist shadow, and it is in the shade I514, which is a kind of pinky based white gold. And it's just going to add a little bit more brightness to the inner corners. And you know what, I actually might take a little bit of those two colours and mix right under the arch of the brow as well. Just soften that out. And then for my lips, I'm going to keep it really simple and light. I'm going to use Nars lip gloss in the shade Chelsea Girls. And then to set the finished look in place, I'm going to use the Models Prefer Finale Makeup Setting Mist.
And there you have it, my summer party makeup look with soft sparkly eyes and bronzed luminous glowing skin. If you enjoyed this video, then please give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching and see you in my next video. Bye!